Advocating for an FASD-Informed IEP, a series of compact trainings for parents. This training was originally presented to a live audience in the fall of 2024 and have been divided into smaller sections here in order for participants to access the sections they choose in the order they prefer. Accommodations, the magic of the physical disability lens. Part 4 in the Advocating for an FASD-Informed IEP series. So let's take a look at why accommodations are so important for students with disabilities, and in particular for students with FASD. We'll start by keeping in mind the brain-based nature of this disability. We're going to keep coming back to that. And consideration that the brain is a physical, right? FASD is a physical disability. And accommodations are designed to provide equal access. So if you think of things like a ramp to get into a building rather than stairs, that's an example of ensuring equal access to the building. And we want to start with the baseline of ensuring equal access for students with regard to their education. That should be our baseline, is equal access. Right? So accommodations also allow the students to demonstrate what they know using their strengths. So if you have a student who's struggling with writing, but excels at talking, then providing them with the option to give an oral report rather than a written one can reduce the student's stress levels while allowing them to demonstrate their knowledge of the subject matter successfully. Accommodations can account for the frequent variability in ability or performance, those on and off days or moments that are experienced by students with FASD. And when the education team understands this aspect of brain functioning and makes accommodations for it, we can more effectively structure how we measure goals to both ensure we have accurate information about the student's abilities and that we're not inadvertently frustrating them by making them repeat something they know, but they just can't access in the moment. So that's something important to consider as well. I'll note that modifications may be considered as well, but I encourage you to keep in mind that they may impact the student's ability to receive a diploma, depending on where you're located and what your state laws are. We don't want a student to have a modification that's put on their IEP in second grade to be able to support them that feels right without the parent having the ability to make an informed decision if that might actually impact their graduation many years later. And oftentimes that isn't discussed when those are added on early in. So I want you to be aware of that. So let's take a look at the difference between accommodations and modifications for clarification. Accommodations change how the student learns or shares their knowledge, whereas modifications change what is actually being taught or learned. So here's a few examples. Accommodations include things like extended time to complete assignments or tests, reducing the number of problems on a page, or allowing the student to move between sitting and standing throughout the lesson. Modifications can include changes to the content of the lesson, such as teaching a student basic multiplication facts when the original lesson is on the quadratic formula, or allowing the student to write a single sentence on a topic that was discussed during science class when the original assignment was a 3-page essay about the same topic. So the language that we use when we're making requests in IEPs matters greatly. And we'll be posting these infographics on our social media sites before too long. So if you want to download them or keep them as reminders in your IEP binder to help with clarification of those differences when you're discussing accommodations and modifications during the IEP, then you can have access to them that way as well. Thank you for attending this training. If you have any additional questions, need more information, or just want to keep up with Healthy Minds, please feel free to reach out to us. This slide has information about our website, our social media contacts, and a direct email to our founder and director, Kelly Rain Collin.